to Rasha, who is the CEO of the network of for the employment promotion, and she used to be actually the previous organizational development manager of the National Employment Pact. Rasha has started her career in the finance department in Eni Exploration and Production, BV, if I'm right about that, and it's a giant Italian oil company. And during her years at Eni, Rasha finished her MBA with the specialization in finance. In 2011, Rasha joined the Nebny Foundation for Development and became a board member and acting general manager until June 2015. Then she did a diploma in public administration at the AUC. Later, she joined the National Employment Pact in November 2015, and together with Mohammad Ezzat, they founded the Network for Employment Promotion, which is a spin-off of the National Employment Pact, and she is now in her capacity as the CEO of this company. So, Rasha, it's a pleasure to have you with us, and I give you a hand over to you now to give us your insightful presentation. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much, Mona. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity, and thanks to everyone who joined us today. It's a real pleasure having to present the NEP to all of you. So let me first share my screen. I'm sorry, it's just taking a couple of minutes to upload the file. Okay, so you can see it now.
Yes, go ahead, Rasha. It's visible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm here to introduce the NEP, and the NEP is a very interesting initiative or project, and it's since its start, it has been the intent is to have an impact, and an impact in a very basic need to human beings, which is livelihood or work, or the vehicle through which you can survive and you can make your family live a better life. So let's start with the NEP history, and you might recognize this logo, the logo of the National Employment Pact, and this is the beginning of the NEP. It all started in 2010-11. It was an initiative of the German Chamber, the German Embassy, and the German private business that are enlisted in that chamber, where they wanted to do something for the youth, okay, and to help the economy recover, and to provide fair and decent job opportunities to the Egyptian youth. So we have the private sector companies. They got really excited, and since they had blue-collar vacancies that are not filled, they coordinated with the German Development Cooperation, the GIZ, and the German Embassy, and from here started the NEP. So what is the NEP and what is the intent of the NEP? The NEP started as a small employment center, okay, with just 3 employees whose aim was to do matchmaking, provide job opportunities to blue-collar job seekers. So if you look at the development projects, you will see that there is labor market information projects, accrediting bodies, education projects, career guidance, training projects. However, there was a scarcity at that time in matchmaking. And it's very important after providing job seekers with training in order to capitalize on the effort that was done. You need to find him a fair and decent job where she or he can use the knowledge that has been gained through the training. Because the purpose of the training is finally to reach a better job which will provide her or him with a better life for themselves and their families. And this is where the NEP started. This is the focus of the NEP. And also not just any matchmaking, but blue-collar focus. Focus on blue-collar jobs for job seekers. In Egypt, there is a lot of matchmaking bodies, at least in 2011, that were dedicated to white collar. However, the blue collars have always been kind of, you can say, neglected or dismissed. You know, no one wants to go through the effort of matching blue-collar job seekers, or taking the time and the effort, especially that it's not an easy job and it doesn't pay off, you know. So, for example, the private recruitment companies for white collar, when they place someone in a company, they take at least 1 month's salary, which is worth the effort. However, for blue collars, the 1 month salary is not worth the effort. And this is where the NEP kicked in. Why? Because if you look at any country, most of its population are working in the blue-collar sector, not the white-collar. If I want to have a factory, if I want to have, even in the service sector, the majority there are not the supervisors and the engineers and the admin team. The majority are the blue collars. They're the ones who run the factory, okay, and make it productive. So this is, and that's why the NEP decided to focus on the blue collar. So how did we start? So we have the NEP, which is a matchmaking body dedicated to blue collar job seekers. We also have the job seekers who can have any degree of education. There are only a certain set of criteria that govern who are the ones who receive the NEP service. So we're focusing on youth, which means age from 18 up to 35. They need to have finished to have a clear military status, in case of males, of course, to be able to sign a full-time contract and receive social insurance. Okay, and usually we provide also our job seekers with a 2-day job preparation. Why is it important to provide them with 2 full-day training, job preparation training? Because usually the job seekers that we serve are one of 2 groups. The first group are young students who just finished their school and or any education, and they don't have a work experience, almost zero or a very light work experience. So the purpose of the job preparation is to set their expectations clear, you know, give them an idea what is a fair and decent work environment, what is the difference between work and school, what are your rights, what are your responsibilities, how to deal with your supervisor, what to expect during the first couple of days at work, you know, what is the labor law, okay? What rights does the labor law give you, and what obligations does the labor law put on you? What does it mean to be committed to a work? And also to prepare them for the first stage, which is the interview, how to dress in the interview and how to talk in the interview, how to act right in order to acquire the job opportunity. This is provided mainly to students, okay? and also to the job seekers who are transforming from the informal sector to the formal sector. Okay, I'm sure you all know a lot about the informal sector in Egypt. It's huge. It's estimated to be between 40 up to 50% of the economy. A lot of job seekers work in it. I'll just give you later a glimpse about reasons we think why they are attracted to the informal sector. However, it's a totally different environment from the formal sector. You know, it doesn't have that level of commitment, that they don't follow the labor law. So it's a totally different environment than the formal work environment, which we're transferring job seekers to. So this job preparation trainings help the job seeker in this transformation. And we also have the job vacancies, because where we'll place the job seekers. And in order to work with the company, we just need to make sure that it's following the decent work criteria. So the criteria that we have is mainly inspired from the ILO decent work criteria. And honestly, those are just the basics, okay? Which is to have a safe and healthy work environment, a competitive salary. And the competitive salary means that it is the average in the market. So, for example, if a production line worker, okay, which is an entry-level job, we can say that it's currently 1,800 up to 2,000 in most of the factories. If I have a job offer with 1,000, I won't be able to accept the offer. Why? Because then I won't be providing the job seeker with a decent job. Same case, for example, if we have something like drivers, they have different driving licenses. So some of them, the average of the job, of the salary should be around £5,000. In some cases, we receive offers for 3,000, 3,500. Then I tell them that, no, this is not the average. The average of the market is the 5,000, and I don't offer it to the job seekers, because at the end, we really want to provide the job seekers with a decent life, you know. And the salary is an important factor. It's the bread and butter, yani. So competitive salary, social and health insurance, and of course, a full-time employment contract. What does the NEP do? The NEP connects both. So we have a team that outreaches to the job seekers, reach out to them through street campaigns, through social media, to advertise the vacancies that we have, and to tell them about our criteria, what kind of jobs do we offer, and to invite them for interviews. And also we have another team that reaches out to the companies to tell them about the service that we offer. And all the services currently in NEP Employment Center are for free for both the job seekers and the employers. And from here, in the Employment Center, we do the matchmaking. Okay, we receive the job seekers. We do our interviews. And we do our interviews. And I'll tell you more about the process in a later slide. But first, I want to discuss with you why unemployment. And I don't know if you know Maslow pyramid, but honestly, since I started university, and this has been one of the most inspiring diagrams for me, because it's on a personal level, it's very true. There are some needs that as human, we all have. It doesn't differ which country, which race, which age. We almost all have the same needs. First, there is the physiological needs, which is the need to eat, sleep, shelter, you know, just to a great extent what we mainly need as infants and children. However, then as we progress, okay, we have safety needs, and without satisfying our physiological needs, okay, we won't care about our safety needs. That's why when people go through traumas or war, and refugees. The first stage is to provide them with the food, the shelter, satisfy the first level of needs. And then after a while, when things start to get stable, they start looking for their safety needs. And one of the safety needs, of course, is employment. And this is at the beginning, the platform which help human beings to move to the next level, to have a family, to have a sense of connection, and then to have self-esteem and to have self-actualization, to build something, to create something, to make a difference in your society and give back to the society. So the NEP decided to work in the safety needs, through employment, through provided employment. So, and I once took, while doing my diploma in public administration, that economic development is the short-term vehicle which paves the way for the human capital development, and in the long term to the environmental development, So we need to start with the basic. And this is what we're doing in the NEP, because as you all know, in 2010, Egypt's unemployment was 8.7%. However, it hit high in 2011 to 11.85, and then 13.05 in 2013. By the end of 2019, it really went to low. I think it was also in the range of 8 up to 9%. But now, after the COVID-19, it's hitting high again, unfortunately. So that's why we're focusing on the unemployment. Okay, so this is why it's unemployment, but why blue collars? This is a graph that was posted by CapMass in 2017 about the breakdown of the unemployment population per education level, okay? And if you look at this pie chart, you will see that the majority of the unemployed are the ones who have education less than university. Okay, so above intermediate, I'm sorry. So it's 78.7% of the unemployed population are youth, and 55.4% of them are non-university graduates. Okay, so the university and above are 34, and the rest are the ones who have technical education. They can illiterate, or the ones who can only read and write. So if we solve the problem, if we had contributed in solving the problem of the majority of the job seekers, then I think this will make a big difference. It will also help a lot of private business to flourish, which will have an indirect impact on solving the problems of the university graduates. So that's why the focus is on blue-collar jobs. Okay, so now I'll move back to the how. How are we solving this problem? What is NEP's methodology? So actually what happened is that from 2011 until 2014, the NEP team grew from 3 employment officers to around 35 employees at the NEP, okay? And during this time, we started with 1 employment centers. By the end of 2014, we had 3 employment centers. However, the most important achievement in this time is to develop the NEP methodology. How are we going to provide the job seekers with a quality service? Okay. We studied every step and worked on developing every step. And finally, this is what we reached. First, we do outreach to job seekers, okay, where we go in street campaigns and talk to job seekers in the streets, especially in the areas with a high population capacity, and usually in areas which are close to where the vacancies we're serving is. So we do the outreach, and then we provide them with the work ethics, okay, which is the job preparation training that I earlier explained. we do a matchmaking. And our matchmaking is that we have a team of employment officers, and all of those team are certified from the chamber in Frankfurt. Because when we first started the NEP, we really didn't know much about how to be an employment officer. What is the role of an employment officer? Is it only to do an interview? What is the set of knowledge he or she should know? At this time, we had an expert from the German chamber helping us, a technical expert, to set up the employment center. And he started doing a curriculum that is based on a certificate that the employment officers in Germany and the employment centers receive before doing their job. But however, it is customized a bit to fit the Egyptian context, and all our team are now certified. So they do the matchmaking through the interviews with the job seekers, and based on this interviews, they match them, nominate them to appropriate vacancy. Then we have a short list that is communicated to the companies. Based on it, the job seeker go through the company interview, and then finally we follow up with the job seeker to know whether he has been accepted, has been rejected, what kind of papers, documents are requested from him to guide him to where he can issue those documents, and make sure that he has been placed and signed the contract. And even after being placed, our M&E team does a second follow-up with the job seeker to make sure that she or he has received the offer that we communicated to him. This went on until 2011. This was our main focus, okay? And during this time, we were hosted at the German chamber. And by the end of 2014, the NEP became hosted at Forta NGO, which is Forum for Education and Training, NGO. And also, it has been decided at this time that the NEP needs to be, we need to work on NEP's financial and legal sustainability. All through this time, NEP has been receiving technical and financial grants support from the GIZ, which we were very, very thankful for, especially the technical support. Honestly, it's invaluable, okay? However, the project proved it's successful, and that this is an initiative that must go on and not just be, its lifetime should not be correlated to the lifetime of the grant that it's receiving. No, it should go on and even be replicated in different Egyptian governorates in order to help more youth all over Egypt. And in order to be sustainable, we need to find a way to generate revenue. So here I'll talk about two main turning points in the life of the NEP, and those happened in 2 different years. The first year is 2015, and during 2015, 2 things happened. The first thing is the first step of NEP being financially sustainable, and this happened through starting to implement projects with other development organizations, other international development organizations. So we worked with the IOM in START project. It was the first time for us to work with an organization other than the GIZ, and to be contracted by them, and to implement outside Cairo. Most of our work until this time was focusing on Cairo. We had to implement this project in Fayoum, Al-Yubayya, and Sharqiya, and Munufiyya. And thankfully, it was a success. And from here started NEP road to working with other development organizations. I'll tell you more later about the other organizations we worked with. Another thing that happened is that we did the first partnership with an organization that wants to work with NEP methodology and serve job seekers in its area. And this was 6th of October Investors Association. They wanted to have an employment center to serve their member companies and to serve the youth in the area of 6th of October. So provided them with a 2 weeks training, capacity building training, and until today we have an ongoing partnership with them where we provide them with technical support to serve the job seekers. So that's why we see 2015 as a turning point in the life of the NEP. And the other turning point is 2018, because 2018 is the year where we set up NEP Company. The reason for setting up the company is to have an independent body that will make sure the NEP go on for years and years and years. And this company is set up by NEP employees. It's called Network for Employment Promotion, and its two main services are consultancy and training. And I'll tell you more about it in later slides. Okay. After this, a bit of a long introduction, what is NEP Vision? What do we want to do? Okay, and this vision, I think we came up with it in end of 2014 or early 2015. And even when we set up the company, we thought that this is what's close to our heart. This is what we want to do forever. Okay. So NEP's Egypt Know-how platform and benchmark for creating, sustaining, and scaling up best practice employment solutions for placing youth into fair blue-collar jobs. And I'll just elaborate a bit about this statement, is that we want to always keep on serving youth, especially blue collars. Okay. We believe that they're the most disadvantaged in the society. However, we don't just want to provide them with any kind of service. No, best practice employment solutions. We're constantly working on developing and improving our process, okay, to provide a better service to the youth and the employers. Okay, and this knowledge that we have gained through the years and that we're gaining through working on our methodology, it's documented in order to spread it out and to share it with other organizations that also want to serve youth, especially blue collars. And this is very important, to share the knowledge and to provide the know-how transfer to other organizations, because the unemployment problem, you all know how big it is. It's a huge problem, and some governments, they can't solve it alone. So definitely not one organization will be able to solve this problem alone. However, a group of organizations, a group of people working together with the same methodology and developing the process together to better serve the job seekers, they can do a bigger impact and hopefully help to combat unemployment in our society in Egypt and also regionally in the Middle East. Okay. So let me tell you a bit about what has the NEP achieved from 2011 until today. Okay, and I'll start first with the Employment Center. So since it was established in 2011, the NEP Employment Center has served more than 90,000 job seekers. This has been the 90,000 are people who came to apply to us, whether in the Employment Center or through the employment events that we organize, because we have organized more than 100 and 150 employment events, different scales, medium scale, which can serve from 500 up to 800 job seekers. Large scale, which serves around 2,000 job seekers over 2 days, or some small scale employment events that are conducted in our office and can serve from 100 up to 150 job seekers. 90,000 job seekers applied. They have we have raised their awareness about what are the fair and decent criteria. Okay, what is the formal job market, and how can they be fit to work in the job market, we can say. What is requested from them to be able to apply to a full-time job in the formal sector. Okay. Currently, the NEP Employment Center is a non-profit employment center that is still hosted by Forta NGO. Okay, so since 2011, we have placed almost 12,000 job seekers in fair and decent vacancies as per the criteria that I explained earlier. We also have more than 1,000 registered employers. Okay, and we provided the job preparation training to more than to almost 9,000 job seekers. Okay. Also, the NEP has implemented more than 10 projects since late 2015 with different international development organizations. So, of course, we worked a lot with the GIZ, different projects, labor market access project, employment promotion project, EDS. We also worked with employment promotion project and training for employment in Jordan, where we were working on capacity building, know-how transfer to 2 employment units in East Amman and Irbid. We worked with UNIDO, we worked with IOM, we worked with Arab Women Enterprise Fund, Oxfam International, and recently we started working with the ILO. Also, the NEP, now it has 1 employment center, okay, that is hosted by Forta, and the intent to have 1 employment center, and the 3 have been now combined into one big employment center, okay, and we use it as a platform for developing constantly, working on developing our methodologies and coming up with new ways and new services to the job seekers. But also, we have our partnership with 6th of October Investors Association. We have another partnership with the Sedate Investors Association, and the 3rd partnership with Alexandria Business Association. Okay, those are 3 employment centers where we provide them with technical support. They earlier received NEP capacity building training. And whenever we do an update in the work methodology, it's also provided to them as part of the technical support. Now I'll just talk a bit about the NEP Company. It's called Network for Employment Promotion, and the network reflects our vision for the NEP, is that we want to have a network all over Egypt and hopefully the region to serve job seekers, blue-collar job seekers, and to provide them with a prosperous life. So the NEP is a social enterprise that has been founded by NEP employees, me being one of them. It's meant to be an employee-owned company for it to be sustainable, yani for inshallah generations to come. However, in order to maintain the governance and to make sure that the NEP is constantly moving towards its vision, achieving the vision that it has been created for, the NEP has an advisory board, okay, that overlooks its operation and most importantly ensures that the NEP vision is fulfilled. This advisory board have representatives from the GIZ, from the German Chamber, and also experts, prominent experts from the consultancy and the HR field. Like, for example, Mr. Alay Suwaini, Mr. Asim Shaheta, those are Mrs. Claudia Gross. Those are some of our prominent members. So let me give you a glimpse about what is the NEP Company doing. How is it different than the employment center, non-profit employment center? So even though it is legally a limited liability company, however, the internal bylaws is that it's a social enterprise. We're not just working to generate profit. Of course, we're working in service contracts, or our work is done through service contracts, which generates profit. However, also this profit is used to sponsor, to a great extent, partially it sponsors the NEP Employment Center. So We have two main business lines, okay? And those two business lines are based on the philosophy that we implement and we enable other organizations. So the employment business line is where we offer training and placement services. Training, by this I mean the job preparation training, okay? Where we help Forta NGO provide them with technical support in running the employment center, and where we organize job fairs, okay? And then we have the know-how transfer business line, okay, where we enable other organizations that want to provide similar service to to the job seekers in its areas, okay. So in here we have the capacity building training. We provide them with technical support that can go on for years and years and years. The capacity development training is just 2 weeks, and where we help them to set the internal system in their employment unit, okay? In order to elaborate more in the know-how transfer, we have the capacity building program, 2 weeks training. We also have the employment officer certificate, which is a longer training, around 21 days with the exams, and this is certified from the chamber in Frankfurt. We help the organization set performance management system for its team, internal governance. We also do training needs assessment for the employment center team to identify the areas where they need training. We help them develop standard operating procedures and process maps to better understand their process and to have controls set on the process to ensure the quality. And we also do, the first step is organization readiness assessment. We help organization know whether they're ready to provide the service or not. And then we have the employment services, okay, which is matching and placement, job preparation, training, and organizing employment events. So now I finished talking about what we do, whether as the employment center or as the company. And now I'll just like to share with you a few insights. Those insights are based on our experience during the last 9 years from the Egyptian labor market, some insights on the job seekers, another set of insights about the employers. This is mainly based on our experience from working with both sides, based on some studies that we have done with other organizations. So the first thing I want to share is that you all know that the informal sector is around 40-50% constitute 40 to 50% of the Egyptian GDP. And this is honestly the biggest competitor that we're facing currently, okay? It attracts a big portion of the job seekers, okay? Why? Because it provides two very important things. It provides flexibility, and the daily rates, the daily payments are really higher than the rates provided in the formal sector, which is of course understandable because the formal sector provides other benefits that are not in the informal, and the safety provided in the formal sector is not provided in the informal. But unfortunately, in tough economic situations, okay, the job seekers only look on the short term, not on the medium and long term. And this is what we need to work together to change the way job seekers, their vision, you know, and to help them see the medium and long term. And this is what we partially try to do in the job preparation training. Actually, what we noticed is that job seekers, they do prefer to work in the formal sectors, but one of the biggest obstacle is the salaries. They need a salary that can help them live a decent life. What does a decent life mean? It means that to cover their expenses during the month and to help their children enroll in education, you know, and to live a basic life, you know, a life where they can just cover their needs, you know. And unfortunately, sometimes this is not the case. So, for example, in 2017, we noticed that after the devaluation of the Egyptian pound at the end of 2016, the retention rate substantially dropped. Okay, a lot of job seekers had to quit from their job and move to the informal sector. Why? Because the salaries at the time did not match, the rate of increase in the salaries did not match the rate of increase in the price. So the job seekers felt that, how can we survive? Especially that everything went really expensive during this time. However, we noticed that also some benefits compromise the salaries. If the companies provide certain benefits, especially transportation allowance, because transportation expense became very high in the recent years, this will be a major attraction and it will compromise the salary a bit and encourage job seekers to join the company. Also, in the case of female job seekers, and there is a lot of female job seekers who really want to work, but as you all know, females, especially after getting married, they have a lot of commitments toward their families, especially toward their children. So we noticed for a female job seeker, in order to accept a vacancy and be attracted to it, daycare is a major attraction. Daycare is the highlight. And we also did a study with the Abdul Latif Jameel Poverty Action Lab, a survey that was done with more than 2,500 job seekers who visited the NEP Employment Center. And through this survey, one of the results is that daycare is number one for females because they have their children with them, so they're safe, they're not worried, and they're willing to work in an 8-hour shift in this case. Also, the GIZ Labor Market Access Project have sponsored a study which was done by an entity called Egypulse, and through this study, one of the main, it's an impact study on the work of the NEP, and one of the conclusions that the study provided us is that the percentage of job seekers who received NEP service and were placed in formal sector after leaving the job that they have been placed in, they did not go back to the informal. No, they continued in the formal sector. Okay, so being placed in the formal sector helps the job seeker to go on in the formal sector. And for us, this is very important because honestly, we want to combat the informal sector. We want to fight the informal sector. We want to decrease the percentage of the job seekers who work there and make them more and more work in the formal sector, because informal sector, regardless of its flexibility or its high daily rates, it's not decent. It doesn't provide them with their rights. If someone got hurt or anything happened to him, khalas, he will be alone. He'll have to work with it, and his or her income will stop. And this is not a sustainable way to live. So now I'll move to the employer's side. So there's a lot of vacancies. Honestly, there is a lot of vacancies for blue-collar job seekers, and in a lot of cases, the employers, they can't find suitable job seekers. This is very true, and it's either because they want certain level of qualification and the job seekers does not have this qualification, especially in technical jobs, or because the high turnover rate, because blue-collar job seekers turnover rate is really high, so they're constantly searching for job seekers. It's a non-stop activity, you can say that. And what we're trying to do is to understand why do job seekers leave their jobs? Why in some cases we can see that a job seeker would accept the job offer, do the interview, and then go to the factory. She or he will stay for one day and then not go back to work, and quit after one day, which is honestly, sometimes it's very, very depressing for us, However, we realized that if the private sector implemented just some measures, okay, those measures will help them maintain their current employees, will increase the retention rate of the employees. And this is very important, even though unfortunately some HR officers in the private sector, they tell us, no, let them leave. We'll find another one. I have 100 job seekers standing in front of my door. Yes, this is true. But did you ever calculate the expense of hiring a new employee? I think that this is something that we all know is not as easy done as said. Okay, you'll take a time to train this employee, you know, and until she or he is well trained, the productivity level and the efficiency level will not be really high. And imagine that after training an employee and investing in her or him for 3 months, she or he leaves, you know, and you have to restart the process again. This will definitely impact your financial bottom line, okay? And imagine having a loyal employee who's well trained and really efficient and will work with you for years and years. What kind of outcome will come from this employee? It will definitely, loyal employees are the platforms, or, you know, the cornerstone of any company that wants to flourish. So we can see that some interventions, if implemented, will really help to increase the retention rates of the employees. For example, the transportation allowance or a company bus. This is very, very important because of the high cost. Yani, I can't highlight it enough or stress on it enough. And honestly, this is not just in Egypt. When we were doing the work with the employment promotion units in Jordan, it was also the case in Jordan, you know. They also suffered from low retention rates of employees. And one of the reasons was because of the high transportation cost. So they started also to advise the companies they're working with to provide transportation allowance or company bus. Okay, another reason, and there is a study that was done by Acumen Consultancy. It was very, very interesting because it actually matched what we noticed, is that supervisors are one of the main reasons that the employees quit. You know, the bad treatment, okay, from supervisors. You know, so we just need to ensure that the supervisors understand really the role, you know, and to make sure that they will treat the employees. This will have a positive impact on our business. Finally, remember Maslow pyramid. They need to see that they have a career in this organization, that there is a future, there is something to look forward to aspire to. You know, even if they start in an entry-level blue-collar job, they're going there with the hope that someday they will be a supervisor or even a senior supervisor, or that there is a career, there is a progress. You know, they will have a better life. And this is just the start. Finally, we all know that we are now living with the pandemic, and we can see its impact on the Egyptian labor market. However, this statement says it all, you know. ILO estimates that 25 million people could become unemployed, you know, and it's not even back to square zero, it's pre-square zero, you know. And over the past 3 months, we can see the impact on the labor market in Egypt. Unfortunately, a lot of job seekers lost their jobs. And this is not because of and this is because of the economy, that the economy has been really hit hard by COVID-19 and the lockdown. And still, it's a risk to go back to work because you never know who might get infected and you'll have to close the factory. But I think that that it's very important to plan now on what's next. What's next? What is post-COVID-19? You know, how can we work on different interventions to help job seekers find fair and decent jobs after this crisis is over, which I hope will happen soon, inshallah. And I hope I did not talk too much, you know. Thank you very much, and please, if anyone has questions, all yours.
Thank you, Rasha, very much for an insightful presentation. In fact, we did have a question or a hand risen at the very beginning of the presentation. I think it was Mr. Amr. I don't know if I can't see Mr. Amr right now. It looks like he's not with us anymore, but never mind. I'd like to open now the floor for questions and answers. And if you have a question, please raise your hand. And we can then open your microphone and your camera, and then we can see you and hear your question. Please. In fact, I do have a question or two, actually, Rasha, just to make sure I got things right. You were referring to in your presentation to just to facilitating the jobs, the positions. But do I understand correctly? You're not really working in facilitating internships or practical trainings, or do you work as well in that?
No, the main focus is to facilitate jobs, not trainings, because we work with job seekers that are willing to sign full-time contracts. So students are not really within our scope, you know, but that's why we're not really working on internships.
Thank you. I think we have a questions, or that's rather a comment from Sven. Sven, would you like to open your microphone and ask a question, or do you prefer I say it out loudly?
No, I can open my microphone if everything is stable. Hello, everyone. Hello, Rasha. Yani, thanks a lot for this very deep and very interesting insight. I wasn't aware, Yani, of course, I was aware, Yani, about the beginning of NEP here in Egypt, supported by GIZ, but I never knew, Yani, how successful this project is. So congratulations to you and your team. I have a question when it comes, Yani, of course, to COVID-19 nowadays, and how are you offering your service in these days?
Yes. So actually, when things start to be, the lockdown started in Egypt, we had to take the decision that, like all organizations, that we really care about the safety of our team, and we had to close the office. You know, currently we're all operating from home, but we also know that the impact of COVID-19 on the Egyptian labor market, and that a lot of job seekers are now suffering. And we were able to see that a couple of weeks before working totally from home. The number of job seekers increased. So now we transformed our work to be working online. We're posting all the vacancies we have on our Facebook page, doing the interviews through phone interviews with the job seekers, and even thinking of ways on how to see them, whether, for example, through their profiles on Facebook. We're providing an online form for the job seekers to apply through Facebook and the vacancy they're most interested in. we're also communicating over the phone with the companies, you know, and even all the vacancy form and company agreement form, which we have to fill, which employers have to fill, they're sent to us now through emails. So we're working now online, totally, and it has been quite successful. Of course, the placement rate decreased a bit, you know, but this is part of it, is that a lot of employers have not been hiring during March and April, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Things just started to get a bit better by mid-April, you know, and mainly in the field of, for example, supermarket and the service sector more than the production sector. Of course, some factories in the production sector are hiring, okay, especially food and beverage. But we can see that the demand is higher in the service sector, supermarkets, security, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we just transferred our work to do it online, to go on and serve job seekers, you know, and it has proved successful. And we're honestly, Yani, we're planning to maintain this, because you never know when the situation that we're in will end. And this is an important tool that we need to keep.
Okay, thanks a lot, Rasha. Is it possible just one last question in addition?
Of course.
Yeah, okay, great, thanks. Because you presented your model to us, Yani, how you make it, Yani, that you are financial sustainable, okay?
Yes.
So, and one, Yani, of the pillars is that you are offering training. Are there any measures on the way that you are going to offer trainings online as well?
Yes. We're now studying how to offer the job preparation training online to job seekers.
Yeah.
Okay. We've started with the survey on our Facebook page and the phone survey with the job seekers that are registered in our database to see their appetite, their willingness to attend an online training. And usually we used to have it 2 days in the office. Okay, we're asking them, would you rather have it, it's a full day training, or for example, over the weekend, you know, distributed on, for example, 4 days or 3 days, each day 2 to 3 hours, you know, and based on it, we'll adjust our curriculum, you know, and hopefully during the second half of the year, it will be offered online, I hope. This is for the job seekers, also for the organizations that were providing capacity building training. We're also working with them online. With it, we had a final training that we had to provide to our partners in Jordan. You know, it was supposed to be a mission to travel to Jordan in March or April, and then the lockdown happened.
Rasha? I don't know. I think we lost Rasha.
Yeah.
Okay, just a second. I will text her quickly. I'm sorry for the technical error. Rasha, are you still with us? Rasha will reconnect in a minute, so I apologize for this technical error. But maybe to use the time with the audience now, which topics would you like us to tackle in the future now with the webinars? We are trying to offer, of course, we are replacing the workshops, the regular workshops with the webinars. But which topics could be interesting for you in the future? Maybe you simply type that in the chat box to see how much that can be arranged by our side. That would be really insightful. For instance, we had the idea of having the Federation of the Egyptian Industries also giving us insight about their role in the TVET sector and what is their activities, what are their activities in the field. Would that be an interesting topic for you? So now I have feedback from the colleagues that the Federation of Chambers of Commerce representing the private sector would be interesting. That's definitely for us also an interesting partner. And also the comments of Sven about the digitalization and how to create online events for bigger audience. But just to my understanding, Sven, are you specifically talking about digitalization in the TVET sector, or you're talking about digitalization at large?
Yamuna, I think I think about in large in general if there are some more information, because nowadays of course we are all going online. We have a lot of video conferences and even events which we are planned last year to happen this year in big hotels has to go online now. So if there are any possibilities to have to get some more tools, some more ideas, maybe from companies who are already working or shifting their focus on online events, this would be very helpful, I think.
Yeah. Just a second. Okay, I just got the news that Rasha has no electricity at home. That's why she's connecting now through her hotspot. So just bear with us 1 or 2 minutes more. I hope that is all right for you. All right. I don't know, have you been with us during the last session we had with the European Development Pact? Some of you were present, or any of you has been present? Okay, Mr. Mohammed Abdelaziz, how did you find the session with the EBRD? Was it useful for you, or is it more important for you to have to know more about funding mechanisms, for instance, in the future? Maybe you can turn on your microphone. Mr. Mohammed? I don't know if you hear me, Mr. Mohammed. Would you like to turn on your microphone?
Hello?
Yes, please.
You hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Mona. Actually, the webinar last time with the European Bank, it was very useful for us actually to get more information about the funding mechanism. Especially, actually, I am looking for what is the new, especially in the area of TVET, what is the new training centers in the plan and the strategy and so on. Because you know that our business, actually, we are supporting technical and vocational education with the equipment and labs and workshop. So I think it's a good idea to have more information about the future of funding project in the area of TVET, like Swedish Technical Academy and other technical school, applied technical schools, and so on.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed, very much. Now having this technical problem of Rasha, she is with me now on the phone, on the mobile. She's still open for any further questions you may have. If you would like to her to answer questions. I think Mary has a question. Go ahead, Mary, please.
Yes, please. I wanted to double check actually that I did understand it correctly. So from the job seeker side and for the registered company side, there is no financial contribution expected, correct? Is this correct?
Rasha, did you hear it? Okay, I will repeat the question. Mary was referring to the side of the job seekers. When they approach the NEP, are you charging them for fees for the services you're offering?
The employment for the job seeker is totally for free, you know, and it's not even planned that will ever charge the job seeker, the company. Most of the services are for free. The normal matchmaking is for free. Sometimes we do special events for companies that have a big request. For example, they want 50 job seekers, 100 job seekers in a very short time span. We provide them to do a special event for them. This is usually for a fee, and the fee is mainly to cover, for now, it's mainly to cover the expense of the special event that will be organized for them.
Right.
But other than that, everything is for free at the NEP.
Mary, I hope you got the answer.
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
Okay, all right, very good. Rasha, if you hear me, also we had the question that was posted previously, and maybe I just tackle it as well before we closely come to an end of this session. It was posted by Mr. Amr al-Naqib. He was saying, is the average salary of BC that you mentioned 5K, 5,000 gross salary or net salary?
I just said it as an example. However, I can go to double check exactly what is the salary range for the driver, drivers with a second degree license, and communicate the figure to you, Mona, and you can communicate it to him. But the salary that we have from the companies is usually net salary.
Okay. Mary, I still see your hand risen, so all right. You have
I have another question.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I wanted to know if it happened before that job seekers get further technical trainings to enhance their competence to enable them to have better job opportunities. Does this happen, and does the NEP go into that direction?
Actually, the NEP, we don't offer technical training to job seekers. Okay. We only offer the soft skills training to job seekers. However, what we do and what we're currently exploring, okay, and there was a project in this regard that we should have started this year, but it's a bit postponed, is to cooperate with the technical institution to provide the technical, and then we place job seekers into a suitable vacancy. But at the NEP, we don't offer technical training ourselves.
Mary, is your question answered?
Yes, so if I understood correctly, there was an initiative to do the referral service to another training entity, but it didn't take place. The cooperation hasn't been established yet, so, correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
Because the lockdown
Yes.
probably until the end of the year. But we're exploring the option of subcontracting another entity to provide the technical training based on the needs of our clients, and then we'll place the job seekers in the companies, inshallah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Rasha, we have one question, and if there are no further questions from the audience, I allow myself to make it the last one. Mr. Mohammed Abdelaziz was asking whether you face challenges to find high-skilled workers in the market, and if you made measures to assess the shortage of the companies in the companies, or assess the demand in the companies regarding the skilled workers.
Okay. Yes, of course, it's very challenging to find high-skilled workers in the market. To be very honest. In a lot of cases, it's not easy to find it, okay? And we have to use different outreach methods to find the workers that we want, and this is not easy. However, for example, we were subcontracted by Siemens in 2016 for the electricity power plant, and we were able to place 14 job seekers there, 14 highly skilled job seekers there. So yes, it's not easy. It depends, of course, on what kind of skill is needed, and the vacancy and the offer, okay, that are provided to those job seekers. But at the end, we can reach them. This is one. Two, how can we assess the needs of the company? This is the question, Mona?
Yes, exactly. How is the need of the companies assessed with regards to their demand and things like that?
Okay. So actually, each company that we work with has a contact person, an account manager at the NEP, who always keeps in touch and maintains a strong relationship with a contact person from the company. Okay?
Yes.
We constantly call them, but also at the end of each year, we do a survey of the companies so that they can rate the service that we provide them. Okay? And during this survey, we also ask them what kind of what other services do they need from us. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whether new services or services that we need to improve on, develop in, and this provides us with a lot of feedback. Mm-hmm. We also have our employer team, other than the accounts manager, who frequently does check-in with the companies, to call them, ask them, and this is throughout the year, about the services that we are providing them, and to check with them in case we're providing a new service, to see whether they like the service or they don't like, will they be willing to receive the service or not. So this is what we mainly do. The survey, the company survey that is done at the end of each year, and constantly we have account manager who's in touch with the HR officer from the company, first contact person, and we also have our employers team that are always there for the companies.
Okay. If no further questions in the meeting room, then any further questions, urgent questions before we come to an end? Okay. Then Rasha, your presentation was really insightful and very elaborated, and your questions, the question and answer session was also very lively. Thank you very much for that, and thank you for our colleagues from the GIZ who joined us. Thank you for our partners from the TVET sector, and it has been really a very, very pleasant session with all of you, and hope to see you all very soon in another webinar. Thank you, Rasha, very much for all your input, despite of the challenges with the electricity.